Hi, we're going to try to get a start on how to do the Mineral ID lab today. So one of the first things you ought to do is separate your minerals into metallics and non-metallics. And we won't be doing that right now. I think you can do that on your own by following the written instructions. But next, after you've done that, we need to come up with some assessment of the hardness for your minerals. Most of the time, students are afraid to press down very hard. In the lab itself, you were supplied with a piece of glass, came wrapped in paper. I am not as fond of using that as I am an empty glass jar. This is, actually it's a baby food jar, but you could use any sort of small glass jar. I have a pimento jar that still has the pimentos in it. So it doesn't have to be empty, it's just more convenient maybe to be that way. So once you pick your jar out, or you can again use the glass sheet that came with it, you want to take your mineral specimen, and I like to hold my glass down, my jar down, and then you have to take the mineral specimen in your hand and you want to try really hard to scratch the glass with it. You need to do it hard enough so you can actually hear something taking place. And so you ought to be able to see, if you look at the glass, that I've scratched it. But to be certain that the glass is scratched, what you then want to do is go back and try to rub it off. If when you rub, the scratch stays behind, which it did, then you have evidence that you scratched the glass, and what that means is that my sample is harder than the glass. Let's try a different one. Let's try this particular sample that looks a lot like the first one. We've got 3 white minerals. They look a lot alike. I'm going to try this one. Come to a new space, press down really hard. I don't hear as much noise that time, but I do see powder on my glass jar. And as I push away, you'll notice that I was able to clean it all off. So this mineral did not scratch the glass. Instead, the glass was harder than my mineral, and it pulverized it. I've got little powder all over my fingers because of that. So now you should have some idea that you have to press down really hard, and that once you make a scratch, you have to try to wipe it off. If it goes away, the glass is harder. If the scratch stays behind, the mineral is harder. I hope this helps.